first kiss was horrible. It was out of my neighbor's house, and his parents, like, I don't know if they were hoarders. Like, they just moved over from Russia, so maybe it's just, like, they had all their stuff in their garage. But, like, they had couches flipped over on top of each other, and we were, like, playing hide-and-go-seek in the couches, and, like, the guy kissed me. I punched him in the face. I was like, this is not how my first kiss is supposed to go.
This is not okay.
Oh, that sucked.
The sound of my body, coming through your stereo, live on the radio. Whoa, this is the sound of my body, coming through your stereo, live on the radio. We stood the test of time and made it through just fine. Live for these beats and minds, turn up the volume, carry the meters. Don't ask us where we've been, we'll fight until the end. So here we go again.
All right, let's go. Welcome to the MNO Show with Brit from Naughty Pine.
Hey,
Thanks for joining
Welcome.
us.
thanks for having me.
We're
Awesome.
stoked to have you. We've been trying to make this happen for a
For a
hot
while.
minute,
Yeah.
but the timing worked out perfect because you guys just did the collab,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to come out,
Dropping Friday.
tomorrow.
Awesome.
It'll be tomorrow.
I wish. Oh, wait, for
It
real?
will, yeah.
Like when we
This is
bring
coming
this
out Thursday.
Got it.
Yeah.
I fucked that one up.
It's all good. It doesn't matter.
If we were keeping count of that, John and I would have a long
I know,
list.
right? This is like the first one that's like, oh, okay, it's going to be this, come out this
Nice.
week. And
Yeah,
yeah.
awesome. Well, let's head way back. How did you get into brewing beer? And tell us the story of how that came about.
Well, my husband's dad's best friend was a home brewer. So, like,
Thanks,
his
Brit.
whole life growing up, he was around, like, the brew equipment and stuff. And then in college, when I was of brewing age, we'll say, I
Right.
bought my husband a homebrew kit for
Cheers.
Christmas. Cheers.
Cheers.
And at the time, I was, like, totally not into it. Like, long-ass nights in the garage in the freezing cold just was not my jam. Like, I was all into, like, the art of, like, making the recipe and starting the brew day, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to go to bed and see what this tastes like in 2 weeks. And then in 2012, I think it was, we got approached by someone my husband knew through work to open a brewery in Maui. And that's when, like, my interest really sparked, was when we went up there. We basically took, like, turnkey brewery from Maui Brewing Company. We took over their original space in Lahaina. And it was then that I, like, really got into, like, the machines and the mechanical engineering part of it, and just, like, the really deep down nerdy part of
Right.
brewing, more than just, like, the art and science of, like, making the recipe.
Was your interest just because you're like, oh, I can make a life out of doing this, or was it
No,
just you
it's
just got really
like I freaking like
nerdy
this. Like,
sciencey?
yeah, it was just like I finally found something that I was like, I dig doing this, and I could do this every day. Because I went to school. We both were Kalu grads. We were both in the exercise science program. He was more like pre-PT, pre-med, and I was like human development. I thought I was gonna go to PT school, and then I hated touching people. Like I cannot touch people's ligaments, their tendons. Like it's like gag reflex for me. So then I kind of I worked as a nanny. I worked at a boxing studio. I did like a lot of odd jobs just to put him through med school. So then when this brewery hit, it was like the first thing that was really like sparked something in me.
What you guys both went to CLU. Were you guys both from here?
Yeah, my husband was born and raised, grew up in Camarillo. I was born in Pasadena, and I moved, like, I was telling him earlier, like 19 times before I graduated high school.
Okay.
So I'm, like, from all over, but I graduated in Camarillo.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
So that's since you went to school, that's what kept you in this area then? And you guys
Yeah.
went to college out here?
yeah,
Okay.
we went to college out here. We briefly moved to Santa Cruz out of high school, and we were up there for about a year. And then my husband switched majors into medicine because he just realized it was his calling. So then we moved back home, and then I was like, heck, I'll try this science program at Kalu too.
Right.
And it was fine. I loved like my biology classes. I loved anything that had to do with like science and dissecting animals. But then the second I had to touch people, I was like, this is not for me.
That makes
That's
sense.
funny.
Not everybody's into
It's my
touching people.
personality. I'm very introverted, so like in a cold lab alone, I'm all good. Put me in a room full of people, and I'm like, no.
So what's the brewing scene like? You said you were in Maui, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's Maui. Isn't there Maui Brewing Company?
That's it on island. Yeah, it was
Okay.
just us and my
I've
brewing
been, I've been there
company.
before.
Yeah, and Garrett's awesome. Like he was really helpful for us with like basically turnkeying the brewery and building
Right.
up, and just super supportive. So, but yeah, it was just the two of us out there.
Okay. That's awesome. And how long were you guys in Maui? And
It's still there. We sold our share of the company in 2021 to put into Naughty Pine, because it just got to the point where when we started this, we never moved to Maui. We were flying red eyes out from work Friday night, brewing all the beer, and then leaving instructions for our partners to follow up with us every day, and
No
then
way.
taking the red eye back into work Monday morning. So like, and we did that for almost 2 years.
Wow.
It was like madness.
Commuting to Hawaii.
how
Yeah.
many owners and how many brewers
There was
were?
6 owners. The only brewers were myself and my husband.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it was fun. I mean, we didn't have a kid. We didn't have any responsibilities. He had just gotten out of med school, so he was full-time physical therapist. I quit my nannying job and was basically just flying back and forth anytime I was needed in Maui. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't sound too bad.
No, that's how we ended up hooking up with the Enegren guys, because I started working in the lab with Brad, Chris's dad, and then taking all the work that he was showing me in the lab and going back and building our lab in Maui.
Okay.
So it's kind of how it kind of intertwined me into this whole community.
So did you guys just get sick of flying back and forth, and you thought, why don't
Yeah,
we do
my
this
husband
here?
doesn't fly. I love to fly. Like, the
he-
bumpier the better. And our very last trip, on the way there, we got stuck in a hurricane and the plane ran out of gas. So,
Oh
like,
my
we
God.
couldn't go to another island, but we also couldn't land. So we had to circle for 45 minutes just to try and land.
Oh my god.
And then that same trip back, the storm had circled back. And so when we got into LAX, we were about 5 minutes from touchdown and our plane lost power. And it never regained power.
Oh my god.
What? Like
So my
it lost
husband was
power?
like, I'm done, I'm never flying again.
It lost power in the air?
Yeah, like we could see the landing strip. And we were coming down to land, and the entire plane lost power. So our pilot had to land blind, and then we had to be taxied into the airport.
Brutal.
Wow.
I thought it was rad. He was like about
Once
to
you hit the
pass
ground,
out.
maybe, or
Yeah.
land, maybe.
So he has not flown since.
No, he is done with that.
Yeah, he's done with that.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
And then, so is that when you started working at Enegren?
Yeah, so then we decided, like, we were actually pretty much packed and ready to move to Maui, and my sister-in-law got pregnant, and it was kind of one of those moments of like, oh my god, we don't want to miss out on this. So we decided to hire a brewer and train somebody, and then kind of step back as more of like running the brewing production and like the brewing operations as a whole versus like being up there every day. And then about that time is when Enegren was like, my brewer's moving. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need a brewer. And we were both trashed at a St. Patrick's Day event there. And I was like, hey, I'll be your brewer. That's just like, that's it.
That's how it went
History in the
down.
making, yeah. So it
That's
was
awesome.
rad.
There's probably a lot of decisions get made on St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah.
you know?
In general, I
Yeah.
think at drunk events, I
Right.
think that's kind of just
But you
how it
followed
works.
through on that decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I was surprised. I got a phone call like 4 or 5 days later, and I was like, oh, this is really happening. Cool.
How long were you there?
Like almost 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So
What's that?
I worked up
Considerable
to,
time.
yeah, basically running production, and we expanded out through all of COVID, and then I left in October 2020.
Okay. So when did you guys officially start?
We opened in the summer of 2019.
Okay, it was 2019.
Yep. And you opened your doors 2020,
2021.
2021.
Yeah. I took over my lease in October 2020.
Yeah.
October 2020.
Yeah.
What a great time to.
I came here a lot during that year.
Yeah.
Like pretty much any time I had a really bad day, I would text the guys and be like, "Can I come have a beer?"
Well, COVID was 2020, right?
Yeah.
And so you actually signed a lease
in the dead
in the
middle
middle
of
of
it.
COVID. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
That's crazy.
It was a now or never kind of decision though. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Like obviously Enegren's been here for a while. They've been making great beer. And then of the Westlake stuff, 14 Cannons, they're making great beer. Obviously, there was a couple of the other breweries over there that didn't survive.
A few. Yeah.
And then now you're over there. Yeah, I mean it's becoming a good spot for beer.
It is. It's a bummer that we've lost a few because it's like you look at Ventura and there's so many craft breweries, but it's what draws people to Ventura. Whereas like every time we lose a craft brewery, I'm like, oh, one less reason for people to like make this side of
destination
Ventura County like the place to go.
Yeah.
It's so funny. There's not too many industries that are as collaborative and unified.
People are always surprised when I'm like, yeah, I did this collab with this brewery, and they're like, what? I'm
Right.
like, yeah, beer people like each other.
Right.
Yeah. It is very cool. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I think with like in music, like for you, like John, I'm like there is always like more than ever is more collaboration, right? Like people are putting out more like collaboration songs than like albums sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So like you came from that world, and this was I probably just made a lot of sense to you. I thought probably looking at
for
it
sure. Yeah, and then we obviously try to do like as much collabs with like non-brewery people, you know, like other people that just bring something to the table.
Something fun,
Yeah, and it's been fun to get like some people come in that have they have no idea, they know nothing about the brewing process, whatever, and get in and do a beer with them, and they
Like
always
Coop?
come out really good. Yeah, Coop was awesome.
like,
Yeah.
he doesn't
Yeah.
seem like he's home brewing.
Yeah, we did the Carey Hart beer, and he got into it. Now he owns his own brewery.
That's
He owns his own beer. Yeah, we've done a bunch of those, but
What are some of the collabs that you guys have done?
We haven't done a lot yet. I started doing the collab for Pink Boots at Poseidon years ago, so then that just transferred over into Naughty Pine. We did our collab here. I did one collab with Monica over at Petals for an emo night that I did with her, of course. And then I think that's it. Like I've done all the Pink Boots ones, but we haven't done a whole lot. It's been slammed busy. Oh no, I did my King Harbor collab.
Oh, what was that one?
We made a Munich Dunkel with rye. So my friend over there, he's not there anymore, but he was the head brewer at the time. We've done that 2 years in a row. And that's a really fun collab. So
awesome.
it's always something rye or something dark with me, and a lager, of course,
And emo.
and emo.
So tell me more about
Oh
that.
God, that's like my jam. My whole business model when opening was like, I want to be the brewery that's like also kind of known as like the music venue of the area.
Right.
And a couple months in, I came home one night and I looked at my husband and said, "Okay, don't kill me. I'm gonna do an emo night." And he's like, "Oh my God," and he's like, "Well, it's either gonna tank you, and you're gonna close up shop, or people are gonna be totally chill." And like, even like my regulars that aren't even emo people will like get dressed up and come out just because like I'm so obsessed with it that they come just for like the experience. of
Right,
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do emo nights like every other month, and there's always a theme to them. And then I do my big emo fest in July, which is like 9 or 10 bands. I rent the stage from Canyon Club. Like we get professional sound system. We rent out
wow.
the parking lot. Like it's a huge like beer music festival, and I do it like to bring awareness and exposure to like some of the smaller local punk bands that are still up and coming. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've been to a couple. We've been to one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Tingle
we're
crew
always-
always usually shows up too.
Yeah.
At least a few of them come
Oh, yeah.
through for the emo nights. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're such
I think
good
anything to
stuff.
support like bands, I'm
Oh,
all
yeah.
I'm all for
I'm all
because I
for
just
it.
feel like there's less and less
Yeah.
actual bands.
There is, and
Yeah.
I reach out to all the local businesses I know that are also like small business run like us, and I get them to sponsor the bands. That way we can put a little more in their pocket and like really make it like a fun, successful like community event for everyone.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was thinking we had Michael Patterson on here a while back, and he produced She Wants Revenge, which is a rad emo band, and we were talking about he had like a. He definitely wouldn't have called it an emo club.
He doesn't call it emo club.
Yeah. Or goth. He wouldn't call it
or,
goth.
yeah, right. It was goth that he didn't want to use the word goth.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Do you know the difference between goth and emo?
It's like emo is more, surprisingly, the like more neon colors and like kind of whiny music. Like Simple Plan is very emo. Good Charlotte's very emo. It's like more the pop punk, but now like this newer generation of kids, TikTok mostly, has lumped emo into everything. So now emo is emo music, it's pop punk, it's punk, it's grunge, it's alternative, it's metalcore, it's goth. Like they've put it all into one big category, which I don't mind, because I get bands from all the genres together. So like our emo fest isn't just like the whiny sad music, it's kind of everything. But goth is like your straight black, like your fucking vampire rock, and like that is goth.
So we flashed up a picture, and that Patterson one would have to do it again because I think I sent him the wrong one that I want to put up. But I was goth when I was a kid, and
before goth was a thing.
Before it was a thing.
Oh, same.
This was
I was wearing fishnets and shorts to school, and people were looking at me like, "Oh, what is wrong?"
Yeah, I was like one of the only goth kids at Los Cerritos and whatever year that was, 1980 something. But I guess I just didn't. I don't know when it started being called goth. I don't know, but when that was. But
I don't know. It's like a whole scene thing now. I can't.
Yeah.
I think when I was in middle school, I think it felt like it was. Well, I don't know if they called it goth then either, but like a lot of people were shaving half the.
Yeah.
Girls were shaving just like half the side of their
It's like
head.
punk and
it was more
emo,
punk. It was more punk, probably,
yeah,
right?
the punk girls
Well, in the
kind of
beginning
did all
it was
the weird,
it was more like it was the
cool
Cure
stuff,
and Depeche Mode. Obviously, like
Ramones.
the Ramones would have
later?
been considered punk rock. They're like kind of the invention of American punk rock.
Okay. I was thinking punk, but you're saying goth.
Yeah, like goth was more specific.
I feel like goth was like the more intense, like dark rock.
Yeah, like Bauhaus,
Like-
I think, was probably one of the early,
Yeah.
kind of one of the early
Like,
ones. That was
I feel like even like Treyu and Bullet for My Valentine, like they were kind of more of like the gothic, like heavier, dark, like you're listening to it and you're like, what am I listening to? But it's so rad.
It's funny you said Good Charlotte. The first tour my band ever did, Good Charlotte, they opened for us.
Oh my god.
They were like
They opened for you guys.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
On your first tour.
That's
On our
rad.
first tour, yeah. They were like
This friendship thing going on was meant to be.
Right.
they were like they had just signed to Sony, I believe, and they were like, it was like, this is gonna be a big deal. Like everyone knew it was gonna be a big deal because the twins and then they were from Maryland, and I remember we were on tour. We had some like time off, and we were in their hometown, and they invited us to. They were going to do like a secret show in this little tiny like basement club in Maryland, and they invited us, and they invited me up on stage to come and do a song with them while they were jamming, and I just started doing NWA. And then like when I was up there, I realized like I just started doing it, just kind of came off.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was like their parents. It was like all the kids in the band's parents and like all these like little kids and stuff. And I just like got into it. I was like, oh, this is totally
OPM
inappropriate.
ruins it again.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
totally.
If you bring your kid out to concerts, I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta know.
Yeah.
That's kind of why you bring your kids to a concert.
Yeah.
To let them know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I remember they would have like they would have
what-
such the biggest fights.
What song were you taking lyrics from? You
from
remember?
NWA?
Yeah.
I used to always do. I mean, I could probably like, I know I could probably do every NWA song for you right now. If you just play it, I could go along. I was probably doing like Gangsta Gangsta.
Okay.
Yeah.
So appropriate.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally inappropriate. It was funny. And like they probably had no idea that none of those people knew what NWA was. That's how
Right.
I'm just up there,
They're
just like,
wow, this guy's awesome.
yeah, just getting gangster as fuck on these people in little Maryland, like super DC suburb, But yeah,
Not until this point right now did I ever like really separate the difference between goth and emo. Honestly, I guess I never really thought about
Yeah.
it, and I think when I heard emo, I was thinking goth, but I was totally wrong.
It's kind of all intermixed now. I mean, like this year at Emo Fest, I've got an alternative grunge band, a vampire rock band, a metalcore band, an emo cover band. I've got
What's
pop
a
punk
vampire rock band?
Vampire rock? It's like
I know there's a lot of bands that have kind of this
I don't even
vampire
know how to
naming theme to them,
explain
right?
it. Yeah, I mean, like it's like gothic. It's very
Okay.
dark and it's hard rock, but it's not to the point of screamo
Yeah.
necessarily. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got a few of them.
Do you
that
know
are
the
considered
band
I love.
Frankenstein?
I've heard of them, but
Yeah.
I'm not. Super
Dave
familiar.
Grave, he lives here in Thousand Oaks. He's still here. He was the singer for this band called Frankenstein. And he's like a legend. Like he ran for like city council at one point, and like when we were kids here, there was the original version of the Oaks Mall. There was the Tilt.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? The arcade, and the next door was Oz. And like all the punk rockers used to hang out in front of the Oz and like smoke cigarettes, and like that was just the thing. And Dave was like, he was like the most OG of all the punk rockers, and he had like this giant black mohawk, and he wore all black and fluorescent green socks for like the Frankenstein. You know what I'm talking about?
Punk and emo is very
Okay.
like
Yeah.
you have that bright color somewhere in your
Yeah.
wardrobe.
I did not know that.
And that was the Frankenstein thing. And shout out to Dave Grave. If he ever sees us, I would love to have him on the podcast. He's
Heck yeah.
like a legend. I'd love to have him play here.
I was gonna say how about play.
I know. Yeah.
That's what we really want.
I did run into him at the Chili Cook-Off last year, and I asked him
Yeah.
about it, and he was like, "Oh, we only play in Germany now."
Oh.
So I was
Him
like,
and
"Okay."
Hasselhoff.
Yeah, him and Hassel. He's
So
like,
we need to
he's big as
find
hell.
a German collab to do
There you
Yeah.
go.
out in Germany,
There we
and
go.
then have him come play.
Yeah,
Rope them in.
yeah.
Cool. Bar staff.
Flights on arrival,
Let's drink.
coming in
What do we
with no
say?
power.
Let's drink some beer.
Let's drink some beer.
Well, we're doing double flights with Brit, huh?
Yeah, we are. Thank you, everyone.
All my favorite color of beer.
Yeah, they're all.
The rainbow of beers.
Oh, I'm gonna mess this up.
Okay.
All right. You know the game. So we're going to take 2 beers at a time, and your goal is to figure out which one is the Tarantula Hill beer.
Okay.
And do we have some of your...
Which one is the guest?
Just
Are some of them
some
guest taps? Okay.
Yep, and then
Yeah.
the other ones are guest taps. Are any of these...
So
is
we're
there-
going to start with T versus T, the top two top left
Okay.
ones. Yep.
All right.
These two?
Oh,
Yep.
T&T.
One of them is T Hill.
It-
One of them is not.
Any Naughty Pine beers in
Yes,
the
there
mix?
is.
Oh,
I'll let you know
God.
when we get there.
Okay.
It's the
I'm
last
not gonna
one.
recognize my own beer. It's
Yeah.
only gonna happen. It's okay.
Well, no, we're excited because we've been doing this. We've never actually had the brewer here that did the guests. So
Right. Cool.
it's amazing.
I think this one's a guest.
Yours?
And
Did you
this
switch
one's
them?
T Hill. No. This
'Cause-
one.
We're doing TNT, right?
Yeah.
It's weird because you guys are.
This one's a lot lighter color. My
Yeah,
left
why-
T.
But
and
how come
yours
you guys
doesn't look
have
like
your
that.
your light one is on the left and
Yeah.
mine's on the
I
right?
think you set yours down backwards. I think.
I did?
Yeah.
No, this is the way it is on the thing.
Oh, so maybe our flights are...
Our flights
Did
are
you guys
mixed
get-
up.
Maybe our flights...
I think my flights are mixed up. Yeah.
Wait, Britt, are you right or left-handed?
Oh,
I'm right-handed.
Yeah, so am I. John's left, so I think that's what
Oh
happened.
yeah.
No,
we
I'm
got
joking.
we
I'm
got
joking.
left-handed flights. Okay.
I hope
We
that
can
we're
fix
making the
this.
right move. Yeah.
I mean, this definitely is a lighter color on.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah,
sure.
the
Both-
lighter color one came from. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the light one.
Good call, John. John, you and the game
I
of
get
games.
something for that.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
feel like the darker color one's the T Hill. beer.
Okay, so now you guys switch yours.
Okay.
The darker one is. Do you want to guess, Jeff? You never guess.
Yeah. I mentally do, but yeah, I'm with.
I
I'm
feel like
Brit.
this is like
Yeah.
a collab beer.
I'm Brit on this one. I think the darker, the one now on our left, is the T Hill beer.
No. You guys are both wrong.
Ah, damn.
All right, so this is the light.
This is the light.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
I just don't drink the light.
This
so.
is the
I
light,
don't
which is
either.
our American lager.
Okay.
And then the other one is Almanac's True Kolsch.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So now you have to point up into the right corner. Where your score is going to be
this.
up here.
Your,
Ding,
your
ding,
left
ding, ding.
corner.
Oh,
Wait, left corner? Left is when you lose?
Yeah, and you got to look real sad. Look like
Looks super
Nailed it.
Yeah, look super emo. Okay, so these two are IPAs.
Which
So we're
ones
going
are we
H
on?
and H.
H and H. Both
And then, man, I mean,
IPAs.
these are like
Okay.
almost identical in color, so hopefully we're on the right path.
Oh god,
Oh, wow.
that's hard.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. Yeah.
One of these beers I've never had before. I'm pretty confident.
Same.
Now you're looking at me. I don't know. I was wrong too on the last one. I'm usually pretty accurate. I usually try it in my head, but
John will give it away if you look at him long enough.
Yeah, I usually will give you a
So
tell him
strong.
I have a horrible poker
you already
face.
like I felt like you already were gonna say something, and you're like, no, I'm not gonna say something.
Look at which glass he's gripping harder.
I'm pretty confident on this one.
I'm not.
You know which one it is, Jeff?
I don't know if I know. I just feel pretty strong opinion on this one. But this is for Brit. This is not about me.
Yeah.
I feel like mine are the wrong again though.
Are they?
My colors look wrong. I think this one. I think the left board is Tea Hill.
You are correct. Ding, 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 ding.
Because I feel like I've had this beer. What is this?
This Cali Day.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
that's
I
what
feel
I'm
like
drinking.
I just had that when I was here, when we did the collab.
So
for
what
Aaron.
is this one?
The other one is There Does Not Exist.
Oh,
Stay Mosaic Pale Ale.
makes sense.
Cool.
It's
Yeah, I
like
don't think
the
I've had that
brewery. It
before.
was a I was like, these are both solid, so
Yeah.
it's got to be both like good hop breweries.
Yeah. Okay. This one's gonna be tough.
All
I can
right.
tell already.
What are we on? B.
We're on B.
Too much coordination for
All right.
a non-athlete over here.
Just the one on the left's a little bit darker. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
The one on the left is a little bit dark, yes.
Okay, good. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think that's Tarantula Hill.
This one was.
I'm guessing there's a Naughty Pine in this one. We haven't
No,
had a
no,
Naughty
no.
Pine.
The
Oh, we
last
don't.
one's Naughty Pine.
No.
The last one is okay.
Yeah.
I just thought, well,
Can I give you guys a one little clue on this one?
don't look at me. Ask Josh.
I'll allow it.
Okay. The Tarantula Hill beer is a collab, so that's why.
So we're kind of trying to taste a quarter of a Tea Hill beer,
Yeah. Exactly.
or a half, I suppose.
And the collab beer.
I won't allow that. I
Okay,
won't allow
sorry.
that.
Shoot.
Yep, I'm pausing.
When your car's on the line,
Yeah, when my car's on the line, we don't play
yeah,
around.
Britt, you win his car if you
I'm
win
gonna
the
say
game.
the right one's Tea Hill.
Correct. Ding, 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 ding.
It's
This is the
slightly
beat-
clearer, and I know the clarity of your guys' beer.
This is a Beechwood collab.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was.
that's what went in my head when you said collab. I was like,
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I
it's
it's
don't
like
day
a
check.
Beechwood beer. Yeah.
not. There's never been a person that guessed it and said it. They guessed it because of the clarity of the beer,
Yeah.
or like just how it looked.
Yeah, she knows what they like.
And
they're
it's
really
not.
good at
It's
that.
not saying anything bad about this beer.
Yeah, this is
Just-
a great beer
It's
also.
a great beer also. Who is
Yeah.
it?
That's Brewery X,
Oh yeah, I
That's
love
Slap
Brewery
and
X.
Tickle.
Yeah.
which is an amazing beer.
Oh, we've had that one before.
We have.
Okay.
Sorry. Skip it
All
Now
right,
that my
here we go.
palate's wrecked,
here. Now,
it's so unfair.
super unfair. After that, those are both pretty bitter IPAs. We're gonna go back to a Pils.
Pilsner.
Yeah, this is the Tea Hill versus Naughty Pine Pils.
Oh jeez. My
Not ver-
palate
not
is totally
versus.
wrecked
I
out
mean,
right
yeah.
now.
I mean, it's not versus.
If you get it wrong, we'll just cut it and we'll redo it and act like you guessed the right one.
I have no shame.
Awesome. I like that too.
I have no palate anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, they honestly, they taste almost identical. They look almost identical. They have...
I'm going to say the one on the right is mine.
Oh, man.
But I have a feeling I'm wrong.
I feel like the one on the right's the Tarantula Hill beer.
Honestly, I can't taste anything anymore.
Yeah.
There's something to it that you got. The water that you guys both use is going to be very similar, right?
Yeah, the water's going to be identical.
Because
Municipal.
what Dante told me is like he could give this same recipe for like whatever T Hill beer to someone like north of here or south of here, and it would taste different because of the water.
The water,
right?
Correct.
yeah.
But you guys are using, the perfect water from the area.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
1,000
wonder.
ounce.
I wonder. How, do you know? Do you know what we put in our pills? Like our.
I don't. I strip mine down to 0, like for all my beers.
Okay.
And then I fully build back the profile. So
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure that Mike and Dante strip down pretty low too.
I almost want to change
Oh
my
gosh,
answer.
I
now.
don't know. My palate's so wrecked right now. I'm gonna say mine's on the right. I'm gonna stick with the right.
Tarantula Hill.
Damn it! Fucking damn it!
I was right, and I was gonna switch it. I was ready to switch
Yeah?
it, and I just like I held tight.
Yeah, Naughty Pine.
No,
Tarantula.
now I can taste it.
Yeah. Now that you know.
Well, I mean, how many beers did we just drink before that? So
Yeah. They taste. I mean, yeah. I think my palate's a little wrecked, but
Yeah, mine's
this
trash.
is slightly more bitter. It's the only difference.
Mhm. What style pills is yours? German pills? 'Cause German pills is slightly more bitter than Bohemian Pilsner. That's probably
That's
how I
interest-
should have
oh,
known
oh.
which one was my beer.
Czech? Is it Czech?
I think ours is a Czech pills. Yeah.
Okay, so same. Mine's
Yeah.
Bohemian, Czech Pilsner.
Yeah.
Can you break it down for me? What are
I
all
don't think
the
we've done a
Pilsners?
German pills.
Oh God.
I mean, generally,
Czech,
I don't know anything. So.
I know Czech pills or Bohemian Pilsner. You can go either. It's slightly more malty, traditional Czech Saaz hops, whereas German Pilsner is a little crisper and a little more of like that hoppy, pronounced hop presence. Usually use Hallertauer, which is more like, I guess, herbal or piney, whereas Saaz is it's got like a hair spiciness to it, which complements the like slightly more like malty profile of a Bohemian Pilsner. Carbonation's usually the same.
That's interesting. I
I think
had
there's
no
also
idea.
like Italian Pilsner,
Yep.
which is like unfiltered. You guys brewed one,
We did an
didn't you?
Italian pills with
Yeah.
Casa Agria.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Their Italian pills is amazing. So
What was
Pasta's good
what
beer.
is what was that called? Is that the?
that's the Padrino.
Okay, yeah, I love
Yeah.
that beer.
It's amazing. That's an
Yeah,
Italian
I-
pilsner.
Okay, I knew it was Italian. I didn't know it was Pilsner.
Yeah.
No, I really like.
I can't believe I got
That
these
beer.
wrong. So mad at myself.
Well, you know the good thing about this
But
game,
also
We
my
everybody.
should have
tongue
started
is
with
kind
yours.
of numb, so
Yeah.
I can't really taste a lot anymore.
Okay, so now we're gonna taste the
Cola.
Naughty Pine Tea Hill collab.
Rockin'.
So tell me about this collab. How did this come about?
Well, I hit up Mike. So we weren't going to announce our opening until 2021 because I felt like there was a lot of depressing shit going on in the world, a lot of breweries announcing their closure, and I just felt like it was kind of like a dick move. And then someone leaked it. Someone found my SUP on TO's website, which I don't even know how you can do that, and literally said, hey, new brewery's opening up in Westlake. I wonder who it is. So my husband was like, you got to get ahead of this before the rumors start. So I hit up Mike and I was like, hey, can I like swing by this week and talk to you guys? He was like, they were the closest brewery at the time. And he's like, are you coming to tell us you're opening a brewery? Because we all know it's you. And I was like, what? How do you know that? And so then he hit me up for a collab. But my social anxiety was like, nah, I'm just gonna like wait a little bit. I get in my head too much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a true, like, emo kid, like, down to the core. And so then finally, like, we started talking about it once we opened up. So I was like, I want to open up and, like, I don't know, like, prove to myself I can do this or whatever before I put my name on your beer, basically. And then I was like, okay, if we're going to brew, he's like, obviously it has to be a lager. I was like, okay, well, it has to be a dark lager then, because, like, I don't have the space for it, but I really want one. And then it just kind of manifested, and then they're like, what do you want the name to be? What do you want the can? I was like, something just dark and emo. I don't know. I trust you guys. Like, you know my personality. But I think it turned out really good. Really good.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Josh and Taylor contributed to the Goosebumps idea, right, Josh?
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
totally appropriate.
Yeah. We were kind of brainstorming, and Taylor was like, let's do Goosebumps. And
Yeah.
then Josh did a very Goosebumps-esque can art.
It's rad.
It's
It's
very,
funny
very
because I
cool.
have major arachnophobia too.
Oh, that's
So like
funny.
when Mike first sent it to me, I was like, oh, I can't even zoom in.
Yeah, we rarely put tarantulas
It's rad.
in our art by design.
I was gonna say that. I mean, there's very little anywhere.
Yeah.
There's one on the back wall that someone painted, right?
Yep.
But beyond that, I don't think I've seen
No.
it.
It's about the hill more, it's the name of the hill. So,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, obviously, like a lot of people have issue with spiders.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were trying to like shove the spider down people's throats.
Man, spiders get a bad rap.
They do.
They
I mean,
do.
they're
Especially
super
tarantulas,
cute, like
yeah.
the furry ones, but
Yeah.
like I still can't bring myself. Like people
Yeah.
will send me videos, I'm like, I just can't do it.
I had a pet tarantula one time, and I was like, I just couldn't bring myself to like play
Okay.
with it and hold it and stuff. Yeah, I was like,
No.
"Ugh."
Did you
Well-
find it on Tarantula Hill?
No, I bought it at a pet store.
Did,
Yeah.
I heard, I don't know if this is true, but a pet store in Thousand Oaks used to pay kids to go
Yeah.
get the tarantulas off the
From
hill.
the Tarantula Hill, yeah.
We
Like
have them in
25
my
cents or
neighborhood
50
park.
cents?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out here. Like when we used to walk our dog. We used to live over by Moore Park College, and they would run across the street
Yeah.
at like 12 o'clock at night.
They'd run across the street?
No, yeah, you'd see
Oh,
them
yeah, there
dart
used to
from
be
one
tons
bush
of
to the
them
other.
back in the day.
I've seen one in the 5 years I've lived out here. It was in Topanga, like
God,
on some
no.
hike.
I've had one on my head before.
What?
It's the things you do for the kids you love. When I nannied, it was her birthday, and they did a whole reptile exhibit. And I mean, this was before I had kids. I loved these children like they were my own. And her mom was like, just do it, do it, do it. And her name was America. And she's like, Brittany, please do it. Oh my God, the photos are epic. Like, they put on my head, and then it starts crawling down the side of my face. I thought I was going to lose my mind. Like, I cared more about hurting the spider. So, like, I stood really still. But I was like, this is literally my nightmare right now.
It's going above and beyond for your job, I think,
Uh-oh.
with that one.
Yeah.
Why did they really want that on your head?
They were doing it to everyone. I don't know.
Oh,
There's
okay.
just like this whole thing, like, hey, you can put a tarantula on your head. And I was like, no. But it was her birthday, so I was like, oh God, I have to do this right now.
That's funny.
Awesome.
So
Good.
tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, and we're gonna.
I thought it was Friday next week. Is it not the 17th?
This is coming out on
Yeah.
This episode's coming
Josh,
out.
You have the
Josh,
same confusion.
Sorry.
He
Josh,
told me
you're
the beer
editing
was
this.
coming out tomorrow, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I'll be here. And he
I
goes,
keep
no,
trying to
no,
play it off,
next
but it doesn't
Friday,
work.
not tomorrow.
No,
Josh,
keep
you're
it up,
editing
keep it
this
up.
on a Wednesday.
This
Keep
is
it up.
coming out on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And
Yeah.
Got it.
St.
Super
Patrick's Day is on
confusing.
Friday.
Okay, for
Yeah.
sure.
The beer's coming out on Friday.
On
this
Friday,
beer.
yeah.
And also it's St. Patrick's Day, and also for St. Patrick's Day we're doing this special Reuben sandwich,
Nice.
which is corned beef and our own homemade slaw. Oh, I
That
see.
sounds rad.
I see chef. Colin the chef.
Colin the chef.
Our chef's name is not Colin.
Yeah, I
One
looked at Ollie the day we were brewing, and I was like, you bastard, this is going to come out on St. Patrick's Day, isn't it? And he goes, yup. Oh, we're bringing out Black
Yes,
Eyed
it
Peas
is.
Thank you,
that day.
Andrew. Thank you, chef.
Oh, that was fabulous.
So tell us about
Yeah.
this new Reuben.
Yeah.
This is the
This
St.
one's
Patrick's Day
Brittany.
Reuben sandwich.
Oh, yeah, I have too much shit in front of me.
Reuben Patricio Sando.
Nice.
El Sando. Traditional corned beef. Homemade sauerkraut. Bacon. And fontina cheese.
All right.
A Reuben with bacon?
And what? Thousand Island.
Awesome.
It looks delicious, chef. Thank you.
Thank you.
This one has no cheese. Thank you. Made one no cheese.
you.
All right. I guess that one's Jeff's.
Get
Oh,
a shot.
All right,
Pretty
let's
over
try
there.
this bad boy and more tots.
Right? More tots, but we're missing that spicy
The spicy
chipotle
sauce.
ole stuff.
Dang,
That
they
stuff
just
was
gave us
rad.
like the old.
Hey,
regular old ketchup.
90s kids, we like our ketchup.
Yeah.
We got our own plate. Like this is, they weren't messing around with us today.
No. And this
I was
rye
gonna say, I thought we
bread.
were gonna like split the sandwich into threes, but alright.
I just deep throated a piece of bacon. I didn't mean to do that.
You didn't even flinch.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna say you didn't make much of a movement, so
Gin has is this true or not? Does gin have juniper in it? Because I'm highly
some of
allergic.
it.
I'm highly allergic to juniper.
Really?
Yeah, and something about gin is like
possible.
super off-putting to me. The
Hmm.
taste, like I want to love gin, but I
But you can't,
I
yeah.
can't. I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I remember we used to have juniper bushes in front of my house, and I would fall into them all the time and like just be destroyed.
Like rash everywhere.
Yeah,
and
like
stuff.
like hive level. Yeah,
Might be a thing.
it might be a thing.
I never
like a PTSD thing too.
I mean, the first few times I had gin was like really bad gin, and then you have like a really good gin, and it's like, oh, big difference.
Yeah. I'm spoiled. My friends bring me a lot of really good gin, so
I think gin is gin's flavored with a bunch of different spices, but I think juniper is predominantly like the first, most prominent.
does that make sense then?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm all for like a good gin and tonic.
Why were you falling into the bushes?
I don't know,
Yeah.
like
Why were you falling
playing
into
tag
juniper
and then
bushes?
fall into a bush, you know,
Okay.
or like trying to catch a football.
Not like makeout sessions or anything.
No, nothing like that.
That was me.
This was like when I was super little,
Yeah.
before I was making out.
I was like in between couches. Like, my first kiss was horrible. It was at my neighbor's house, and his parents, like, I don't know if they were hoarders. Like, they just moved over from Russia, so maybe it's just like they had all their stuff in their garage. But like they had couches flipped over on top of each other, and we were like playing hide and go seek in the couches, and like the guy kissed me. I punched him in the face. I was like, this is
At the
not
same
how
time?
my first kiss is supposed to
This
go.
is not okay.
Oh, that sucked. No,
Well,
horrible, horrible. So much to do in Washington, so like you had to be really creative out there. Like when I got into high school and college, it was just like you partied and you smoked hookah, which what was the fucking point?
yeah,
Like, it
hookah's
does
pretty much a
nothing
waste.
for you.
Yeah,
It's just flavored smoke.
yeah,
I
it's
was
just
like-
headache making. So Tool is it stands for Theory of Overall Logic,
Okay.
which is kind of a version of, think of it as like common sense,
Okay.
like having some type of overall logic that you apply to just to day-to-day life.
Okay.
And as an amazing mother, you have an amazing daughter.
Okay.
And yeah, like think about, kind of imparting, it's crazy because I didn't think about these things until I became a parent, and then you start thinking about parenting in a different way, because prior to that your experience with parenting is being a child of a parent, right?
Huh.
So and I feel like this whole thing for me came about when I feel like my mom's generation was taught very clearly common sense, and then and so my generation, I feel like we were taught common sense, but almost subconsciously.
Yeah.
But then the saying started coming around, common sense, either you have it or you don't. And so then parents in our generation started kind of looking at some of the kids who develop differently. So, this one just doesn't have common sense.
Yeah.
So then they kind of stopped just teaching them things
Right.
that are very important to the basics of life, and like logic, and applying logic to day-to-day life.
Right.
So so part of the show, we do this at the end of every show. We kind of just like, and then it's cool that the word is tool also. So like, what is something in your toolbox that you use every day? That's something that was imparted you at some point that you can like clearly reach into and say like, this is something that I'm trying to install in my daughter, so that I'm giving her the tools to be set up for success.
Oh. Okay. We always end on like a happy note. So we never go to bed angry, I guess would be like our tool of like our staple in our house is like you never go to bed angry. Like you always finish the discussion, you finish the argument, you finish the conversation, and you go to bed like as a whole.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny because one of the ones, and then every time I kind of have like an outline of all of these kind of tenets that exist inside the tool book or whatever.
Like your principles.
Yeah.
Like kind of your tools.
Yeah. I'm trying to kind of develop this playbook of tools that like, and the simpler the better. So the less chapters there are in this book, the easier it is to impart onto other people, right? The McDonald's of life, have them systems based, like obviously like Buddhism is about systems and like repeating the systems, and so like obviously the more simple it is or whatever, and like so what you're talking about is one of the ones that I've been thinking about a lot lately. So it's awesome that you're just saying this, but like, so one of them is like, it's basically love is the answer, is the chapter.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because love, that should be like, the whole book could basically be that one. Like love is the answer.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is in that situation. Like, like as angry as you get in that moment, like this is your unit, this is your family unit. Like at the end of the day, like no matter how mad you get at your wife or your husband or whatever it is, like if you can turn it into like a place of love and empathy and whatever, then like all the context goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like there's kind of a second, I mean, I'm sure there's been many love movements in history or whatever, but like the biggest love movement in American history that I'm aware of was in the 60s. And like, the hippie kind of movement or whatever. And I feel like we're kind of in the middle of a new one.
Yeah.
And it's not as clear cut as that one was, like right now it's like, it's convoluted in a sense, or it's there's a bunch of stuff in the way, because there's like the hate for hippies, right? And then also there's like wokeness, which is like the extreme, kind of like end of it or whatever. But like love is always the answer.
There's a really well-known book written on it called The New Gospel, the Bible. That's basically the essence.
The essence of the
of the new gospel.
Yeah.
The Bible is love.
Right.
Is what they'd say that Jesus taught was.
Yeah.
If there was one principle, was just straight love.
Just love.
So, so maybe the Grateful Dead was the second one.
Well, no, they were definitely in that era.
They were
for sure.
Yeah.
And Bob Marley was in that era. Bob Marley coined One Love,
right?
which was the
That's
same.
right. Yeah.
And like
Is that
that's
same time?
Same time.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and then obviously like the Beatles were, when they evolved into kind of hippies when they started growing their hair, and like,
all that music's like making a resurgence too.
Yeah.
It's all coming back.
Well, yeah, and an interesting thing happened in the '60s. There was the race to the moon was, and it was massive. I mean, we talked about this the other day. Like, it was on everybody's mind. And like, now anything is possible. Also, they had the Vietnam War, which was a fucked up war, and it was the first war in American history. There was only a couple wars, whatever, a handful of wars in American history at that point. This was the first war that all of the people weren't 100% in. Like half the country was against this particular war, and those became the hippies. So then now there was conflict, and that fucked up that movement. And then also the whole the love movement was also psychedelic drugs, and drugs kind of came into the picture. And so by the time that rolled into the 70s and the drugs turned into coke, it got lost.
Right.
Yeah, everyone lost focus.
Got a little
And it got
wild.
fucking wiped out until now. It's coming back, right? And then the other part of it that was super damaging was kind of the free love movement also was happening in that time. And like if you think about like cults, like every cult leader is all about sex.
Right.
Like it's always some
Yeah.
guy
All the
who wants
documentaries
to
are like,
either yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just close this out with he had sex
And that's
with
where it
everyone.
ends up.
Yeah, exactly. It's always some guy who wants to like
He has some
you
really
know, fuck
interesting
100
ideas.
girls or like fuck little girls
Yeah.
or fuck little boys or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Even
It's always
the new
fucked
show,
up.
the Last of Us or whatever. Oh, I guess I shouldn't say because I'm totally gonna spoil it for
Spoiler
some
alert.
people,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah.
Go for it,
But
though.
same thing.
Yeah.
They end it with they find out that the guy that's running this like whatever safe house neighborhood.
Right. The last
At the
episode
very
that
end.
they
Did
just
you
posted.
see it? Yeah. And it's just
not
like,
the last
and
episode, but
then,
it's up to
like,
this point.
the last 10 minutes, he's like, and I'm gonna make you mine, and
Yeah,
guess what?
yeah.
Here I come.
Yep. That,
Yeah.
I'm up to date on that one. Yep.
So that definitely
Brutal.
fucked stuff
Yeah.
up, right? And like definitely
Mhm.
derailed that whole movement.
Right.
And then obviously like you're saying, like if you're talking about like, you know, Jesus, like
But almost most
That-
religions,
yeah.
I mean, if you want to generalize, are
Yeah.
probably about love.
Yeah, and
Most.
again, like if you McDonaldized all of it and you just stuck to that, then it would have a much better chance of succeeding. But there's all these other things in there that like kind of make it confusing to people.
Absolutely.
I just don't understand why people can't be nice.
Yeah,
Let's just be nice.
Like,
let's
I
just
don't
be
get
nice.
it.
Let's just
It's
love
like-
everyone. Yeah,
Like, who fucking cares?
yeah, exactly.
Like,
I don't have
Yeah.
enough energy for all this
no,
other
I
stuff.
don't.
I
I
know.
don't have enough energy for all the
Agreed,
hate.
agreed.
It's just like, do your own thing, stick in your own lane, and
Yep.
like, blinders. Like, who cares what the person next to you is fucking doing? Just
Right.
do your own shit, and you'll be fine.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
You just said it's super important.
Be collaborative if you feel like being collaborative. If you don't, just
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep driving.
And if you don't like what they're doing, then just tune out.
Yeah, it
Right.
It's
doesn't.
very easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks. For
That was
joining
amazing.
us.
I'm glad we finally got to do this.
I
And we're
almost lost my voice again for this. Like 2 days
Oh,
ago,
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, it's happening." Every podcast I've ever been on, I've had no voice.
Oh well.
I've had laryngitis
Yeah.
for everyone.
We'll have to plan ahead next time.
Next time we're gonna do. Let's do the
Ugly sweater.
The
and
Ugly
I'll have
Sweaters
I'll have it
podcast.
for sure. I will
Okay.
for sure have laryngitis in December.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.